Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So today we're going to work on this little bracelet, and this bracelet is sort of an offshoot of the companion pieces, but I'm going to change the name because, I don't want to keep calling it the companion piece. So I was thinking, what could I name this? And I thought, this is a strong piece. It's, it's not delicate. And who's like one of my idols that's really strong? Of course, royalty, Queen Elizabeth I. So welcome to your Elizabeth bracelet. All right, so here it is. I made a couple of samples here that I wanted to show you. So it's really pretty. It's got that netting on the outside and a modified right angle weave as the base, and it's really not hard to make, really fun. I just wanted to share with you some bicones that I bought. So I bought these. These are so gorgeous. These are the Turquoise AB2X, and I haven't used the AB2X and these sort of more opaque beads. Doesn't that look like there are little lights inside them? They're amazing, and I have them in some other colors too, and they're just gorgeous. So I'll put down below where I purchased these. I mean, you probably have some in your stash, but this is new for me. And when I was working with these, I was just like, oh my God, look at that! Like there are little lights inside. All right, and here's one that's just a. This is, I think, I forget the name of this one. It's some kind of blue, but maybe it's denim. AB. So just to give you an idea of how it looks with a darker bead in the background, a really bright sort of light, shining through bead, and here, of course, the Pacific Opal, which is just so my favorite. All right, so I'm going to clear this off, get a materials list going, and we'll get started. Let's get a materials list going. So you'll need 4mm pearls, 4mm bicones. Now, if you have a different type of 4mm, give it a try. I mean, it could work. So if you have a Drock or a Firepolished and but you want two different colors, I would think, to get this pattern. But I'm using a pearl and a bicone. But I suggest you try other beads as well. So we need a 2mm Firepolished bead, and that's the bead that goes along the edge, down the center, and on the side. Now, I just wanted to show you, for those of you who have asked me about them, they're by Beadsmith. And they're Firepolished True to 2mm Czech beads. And I don't have any more gold left. I have those on order, but these are the silver. So the Labrador, you get 600 beads for about $12, and that's without a coupon. So if you have a coupon, you probably can get them really reasonably. I really urge you to give these a try and add them to your stash. They're so great to have around. 11/0 seed bead. Now, if you don't have the True Twos and you want to get this done for the holidays, because it's a pretty quick bracelet, you can replace the True Twos with 2 11/0s. So wherever I put a 2mm, you can put 2 11/0s. In fact, I think I'm going to do the video with 2 11/0s because I don't think I have enough of these. So either one, the 2mm Firepolish or the 11/0s. I have a little 2-strand box clasp. I have a stop bead, size 10 beading needle, 8-pound Fireline. Don't forget the Ringberries matte, 10% discount code. No more oops bead tray. All colors, sizes, materials, you name it, down in the description box below the video. I know that's repetitive, and I apologize for saying it every time, but for somebody who's new, it's not repetitive, so I have to really say it every time. I also put timestamps down there, so if you don't want to listen, you can just go ahead and go straight to the beading. All right, don't forget to like and subscribe, share this video, and I'm going to clear everything off and we'll get started. Let's get started. So thread your needle with about 5.5 feet of thread, put on a stop bead, and leave about a 12 to 14 inch tail. So I've put on my needle and dropped down to my stop bead. 1 pearl, 1 bicone, and 2 pearls. Now I'm going to sew those into a circle just by sewing up through all the beads. And I want to come past where my thread is coming out. So here, like this. Like this. I'm just sewing around. One more. Get past that stop bead and to put my needle in place to add more beads. This is what I have. So now you're going to pick up your 2mm. I'm going to use 2 11/0s because my 2mm didn't come in time. I still think the 2s are better. Well, just doesn't. I guess it doesn't matter. But I'm going to use the 2 11/0s. So 2 11/0s or a 2mm, 1 pearl, 1 bicone, and 1 pearl. that. Exiting here, right here. I'm going to sew through this one. Like that. I'm going to pull my thread in this direction. Make sure it's nice and tight. Skip the 2/11-ohs or the 2mm. Sew through the next pearl. Just make sure that thread goes sort of behind the the 2mm or the 2/11-ohs. That's what it looks like. I'm going to pick up a 2mm or 2/11-ohs, one bicone, one pearl, one bicone, and one pearl. Like that. Exiting here. Sew through this one. A little pull in this direction. Skip the 2 and sew through the pearl. Pull. You want to pull it and make sure that it's, that everything's nice and snug. Oops. Okay, you're going to pick up your 2mm or your 2/11-ohs, a pearl, a bicone, and a pearl. Exiting here, sew through this one. Straighten out your beads and give it a little pull in this direction. Sew through the pearl. Like that. So this is what we're going to do all the way down. Just want to make sure my beads are nice and snug. So I'm giving them a pull. Okay, there you go. So we're going to do this almost to the length of the bracelet. Now, a couple things. So this is my bracelet. This bracelet is 7 inches with the clasp. It's 6 inches of beading, okay? So if you, a little over 7 inches altogether. So if that's your wrist size, you can do, I want you to go up to 23 units or pearls on the bottom. So you're going to start counting from this bead, and I want you to put 23 on. And we're going to put 24 on altogether, but that's going to be a different sequence. So if you want to do this, a 7-inch bracelet and the 6 inches of beading, you want to just meet me back here at 23 pearls on, and then we're going to add another one. If you need to make yours bigger or smaller, then you need to add an even, altogether it's going to be an even number of pearls. When you count from this pearl to this pearl on the bottom, it's going to be an even number. So if you need to add more or less, then you need to do that. You can adjust with your clasp a little bit, but in order for us to get 2 diamond units, diamond shapes of the seed beads at the end, you need to have a total even number, but we're going to put that last group on together. So you're going to come back after an odd number of units on, and the way you're going to count, as I said, all the ones on the bottom, just that bottom row, and then we're going to put the last one on to make it an even number, all right? Now, the reason that is, I'll just give you a quick explanation, is because, like I said, in order to get 2 whole diamonds at each end, you need an even number, because you need 1 whole right angle weave unit plus 1 from the next right angle weave unit to be able to, you need those beads right there in order to put your 11-ohs on. And in order to get that, you have to put it on the way I said. Trust me, it works that way. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Come back after you have an odd number of beads for your length, but you're going to add 1 more unit to make it an even number, okay? So, I'll meet you down at the end and we'll go through it together, all right? So you're just going to keep adding that same sequence on of a 2mm or 2/11-ohs, a pearl, a bicone, a pearl, until, like I said, you're down to the end and you have an odd number of beads to surround your wrist, and plus we're going to add 1 more unit to make an even number of pearls on the bottom. Okay, trust me. See you in a few. Okay, we're back. So I'm making a mini. So right now I have 11 units on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm just counting the bottom pearl, just this here. So 11. Now, to make the ends the same, the next unit is going to be 2 11/0s or 2 millimeter and 3 pearls. Exiting here, so around, like that. Skip the 2, and sew through the next pearl. And I'm making sure my tension is really good here. It's not too tight, it's not too loose, it lays pretty flat. So now, when I add my bottom pearls, I have 3, 6, 9, 12. So I have an even number, and that way all my little diamonds are going to be, I'm going to have a diamond at either end. Just like the way that looks. All right, so here we have it. So we're exiting here. I'm just going to advance my needle through this one and through this one. Okay, I'm just going to stop there just so you can, adjust as needed, and then we'll continue. So you're going to pick up, so your thread is coming out of here. Just going to pick up a bicone and 2 pearls, like that. Exiting here, no 2 millimeter, just going to sew through the other side of the bead you're exiting. And give it a pull. I'll move my finger in a second. And that's what the bottom looks like. Okay, now you're going to pick up either a 2 millimeter or your 2 11/0s. Sew through the next bead, right here, to that next pearl, right up. Oops. Okay, let me try that again. There we go. Okay, that's better. Just like that. Then I'm going to pick up a bicone and a pearl. Exiting here, I'm going to sew through this one. I'm going to skip those 2 11/0s or the 2 millimeter, and we're going to sew through the pearl. If I can get to it. Here you go, come on. There you go, like that. And a pull. You want to make sure you don't have a lot of thread showing, so if you have to pull it, go back a little bit and pull, do that. All right, then we're going to pick up, do the 11/0s again, sew through this one. Oops, did 3. That's another reason that I like the 2 millimeters, because you can't accidentally pick up 3 little beads. All right, it was easy enough, so here we'll just sew through here. Pick up a bicone and a pearl. Exiting here, sew through this one and up through the pearl, like that. Make sure your tension is good. You don't have a lot of thread showing. Keep doing that. 2 11/0s or a 2. A bicone. Come here, you guys. And a pearl. Sew through this one. And through this one. Give it a little pull in this direction. That's what you're going to do all the way down until you get to about the last, couple before the end, and we'll finish it together. Okay, coming down to the end, so I'm at the point where I'm putting on a bicone and a pearl. So I put the 2 millimeter in. I'm going through the back, through the bicone and this pearl. A little pull. 2 11/0s or a 2 through the next one. And then to complete in pattern, I'm just going to pick up 2 pearls. Sew through this one and the pearl. So the bicone and the pearl. Pulling in a little bit to complete that so you see that both ends are the same. Exiting here, I'm going to sew through this one. I've got a little knot in my thread there. Going to pick up an 11/0. I'm going to sew through this one. Just one 11/0. Okay, and now I want to go around and come out the other end because I want to put on some beads here. So I'm just going to sew through this one, just going on right angles, okay? Sew through the bicone, just down through this pearl. I'm not sewing through any of the 11 O's. Like that. Across this bicone. So here I'm just doing right angles, like that. And then I want to come up through this pearl, and now I can start going through the 11 O's. So pearl, I'll move my hand in a second. Pearl, 11 O, pearl. Let me just get my finger out of the way, and then I'll straighten it out. Okay. So here I was coming out of this bicone. I just turned. I made a right angle. Came through this pearl, these two 11 O's, and this pearl. I'm just moving my thread around so I can add some beads here because we're going to use those later. Let's pick up one 11 O, put it right there, and then a 2 millimeter or the 2 11 O's. It's going to go in the middle, like that. Okay. Make sure you're, straighten your piece out a little bit. Might be, pulling a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to sew through this 11 O and this pearl. So you want to straighten, especially if you're using the 11 O's, you want to straighten your beads out a little bit. Make sure everybody is nice and straight. Okay, like that. Move my tail out of the way. Okay. Now I'm going to put a 2 millimeter on or 2 11 O's in between every pearl. So 2 11 O's or 2 11 O's. Or 2, 2 11 O's, or 2, and so on. Do that all the way down, and then, just kind of like flatten it out so it's nice and fluid, and then come on back and we'll continue. Okay, so I'm coming down to the end. A couple of things. You want to make sure that it's, not, that it's straight and that everything is, nice and fluid. It's starting to stiffen up again, and that's fine. But if some of your 2 millimeters or your 2 11 O's have sort of gone down, like I had some groups that were pushed down, like these are sticking up, they were sticking up on the other side, just put your needle in and go like this and pull them up. You want everything to look beautiful. And that's important. All right, so I'm exiting. Let me do this. Exiting here. I'm going to pick up an 11 O. Sew through this one. And then I'm going to pick up 2 11 O's, and I'm noticing that with the 11 O's at this end, you want to just pick up like the thinnest ones that you have, because some of them, are chunkier, because it's a little bit, maybe a teeny bit larger than the 2 millimeter when you put them together. It shouldn't be. They're supposed to be 1 millimeter, and then, so this would be 2, but, just this size is slightly, maybe the 2 millimeter is slightly slanted on the end, so it's a little smaller, but so far it's working. Just giving you a few tips. So sew through this, pick up an 11 O, sew through one 11 O, sew through this 11 O, and the 2 millimeter or 2 11 O's right there. Okay, so just get that done, and then give it like a little push down. I noticed, like I said, with the 11 O's, putting 2 11 O's in instead of the 2, it doesn't, it's just a little bit less fluid, but I think it'll be okay. Well, it looks good. All right, so get that done and then come on back and we'll continue. Okay, we're back. So we're going to start the netting on the outside now. So just a couple of things. Using the 2 11 O's, it is a little more difficult. You have to really kind of pull it into shape a little bit. It works, it's going to work. I've already done a sample and it works. It's just like, don't be nervous if all of a sudden it seems like a little bunchy, because it all straightens out and looks beautiful. So we're exiting these 2 11 O's. So when you're doing, we're gonna do the netting. So when you're doing it with the 2 11 O's, pick up 4 seed beads. So you're picking up 4 11 O's, exiting here, and you're gonna sew through here. If you are using the 2 millimeter fire polish, then 5 I think works better. But you can try both. Exiting here, sew through these 2. So we're going to zigzag all the way down, pick up 4, sew through these 2. So you see, so I think it works out better doing 4 when you have 2 seed beads here, but when you have the 2mm fire polish, I think it works out better with 5. So you can play with either one and see what you think. All right, so you're just going to do that all the way to the end, and then meet me back here and we'll continue. Down to the end. So I'm going to pick up 4, and I'm just going to hold my piece this way. So I want to sew through these 2 end 11/0s, or the 2mm, whichever's there. Make sure they pop into place like that, and then we're going to go back, pick up 4, sew through these 2, like that, pick up 4, sew through the 2 in the middle, right there, pick up 4, sew through these 2. Just be mindful of your tension. It's all coming together now that we've got the second, group of 11/0s on. 1, 2, 3, 4. So through these 2. And do that all the way down to the end. And like I said, you're going to have to, kind of straighten them out a little bit. Actually, it looks kind of pretty with the 2 11/0s. It's just a little, I just say it's a teeny bit trickier, but it's definitely doable. All right, so get that done, meet me at the end, and we'll continue. Okay, I'm coming down to the end, so I want to put my last groups on, and I'm running out of thread. So here, exiting here, I'm going to sew through these 2. I want to push them over like that. Pick up 4. I'm going to sew through these 2. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. It's looking pretty good. Let's put it on the wrist and see how it's curving really nicely. It's a nice solid piece. I mean, so the difference between the 2 in the pattern is like that. So you see there are 2 11/0s here to the 1 crystal. This one's a little bit more fluid. It's just a little more fluid because because the 2 11/0s make it a little more stiff, but this bracelet will set up by itself, which is fine. Oops. All right, so get that done, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put one end of the clasp on. So you're exiting these, so you put this last group on, so I want to tighten these up, and being that I have to add some thread, I'm going to sew sew this thread in and then add a thread. But if you have lots of thread left, then like we did before when we turned around, I want you to just sew through the bead. So here you're exiting these 2 beads, or the 2mm. I'm turning it this way, sewing through this one. I want to get up to the top again through this one. Oh, I don't have enough thread through this one. I'll just get you to almost there. This one. And then I want you to sew straight up. So you're going to sew through this pearl. Right here, let me see if I can get that one in. Got it. Through this pearl. And then straight up through these 2 11/0s, or the pearl, and I want you to come out of this 1 11/0. So your thread will be exiting right here, and then we're going to put the clasp on. All right, so I'm going to put a thread on, and I'll meet you back here in a minute. Okay, we're back. So I've kind of threaded I did my thread path on the clasp already, because sometimes it's hard to see my hands, and so I thought it might be easier if I just talk you through it. So we're exiting here. Put on an 11/0, sew through the first ring of your clasp. If you don't have your rings facing in this direction, or any direction that you want to put your clasp on, what I do is I have a collection of 3 and 4 millimeter jump rings in different color, different metallics, and I just put a jump ring on. So that way I'm never limited by the way the ring is on a clasp, the way it's situated. So 1 11/0, sew through the ring. Put on an 11/0, a pearl, 4mm pearl on 11/0, sew through the second ring. Pick up an 11/0, sew through this guy. And I'll just leave it here for a second so you can see the thread path. Come here, you. There we go. All right. Now I'm just going to close it. So it looks like. And you're going to want it, you want to pull it. Notice how it goes down a little bit? Let me back out a teeny bit. So you don't want to leave it up here like that. You want to pull it down so that the 11/0s connect to each other. And that way it's going to have this little downward motion, you know, or situation, and that it'll be fine. And I think it looks nice because it makes everything nice and snug, and it sort of curves along with the bracelet. So I'm coming through the 11/0. Now we want to make sure that we get this on really good. So we're going to go through the pearl, just the pearl, like that. So let me show you. So when I pull it tight, do you see how it goes like underneath a little bit and down? I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to start sewing through my beads to get to the other side. So through this bicone, so we're exiting that pearl through this bicone. I'm going to do it a little bit this way. So I'm going to go through this pearl. This is where I added my thread. I haven't sewn it in yet. This pearl, let me move my stop bead. Exiting this pearl, sew through this bicone. Like that. All the while I'm pulling. So do you see how the clasp goes down a little bit? And you'll see when you put it on your wrist that it fits nicely this way. I'm going to sew up through this pearl, through these two 11/0s or the two, whatever, the pearl and all your clasp beads. Through the loop, the 11/0 pearl 11/0, through these two, like that. Now you can do that again, but sew through, let's see. Yeah, you want to definitely sew through around and up and come around again. I'm not going to do it because this isn't a full bracelet, but it's, you know, I just wanted to show you. So when you, see when you lay it on your wrist, how it curves, it makes it curve around. So I think it's a really good clasp for this. And this whole, actually this whole bracelet curves around with the 11/0s. All right, so get that done. And then just repeat for the other side. You put it on the exact same way, and then come on back and we'll look at our bracelets. Okay, we're back. So here are our bracelets. And I just wanted to remind you that if you are using all the 2mm fire polish, your netting is going to have 5 beads in between each 2mm fire polish. But if you are using the 2 11/0s in between, then your netting's going to work best, I think, with 4. And I'll show you the difference. So this is the one with the 11/0s in between, and this is the one with the fire polish. So this makes sort of a bigger diamond shape. This is a little bit smaller. So really it just, I mean, they're almost exactly the same. As I said when I was making it, this one is just a little bit more challenging to bead. So you want to make sure your tension is really, really good on this. This is just a little easier with the 2mm, but it does work with the 2 11/0s instead of the fire polish. Here's the other one. Really pretty. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you had fun beading with me today. And I'll definitely see you on the next video. I'm going to make a necklace out of this pattern as well. So that one will be coming up. All right. Take care. See you soon.